Hello, I'm Gregory Mosley, martial art instructor, and this is Martial Art Universe, bringing you the finest of the martial arts from around the world. Point. On November 9th, 2024, I attended the Urban Action Showcase and Expo 12th anniversary celebration at the Regal Theater in Times Square, New York City, with screening, action expo, panels, seminars, and celebrity guests.
Sounds good. Thank you.
We need continuity. Don't react, block, shoot. So I'm gonna go here. I want you to go here, go here.
And welcome you from the Women's Martial Arts Network to help us celebrate our 6.5 years in existence. And in short, is that we formulated this organization because representation does matter. And we didn't see a lot of women that look like ourselves. And so we began in 2018, and it's just been a tremendous ride. So much has happened, and we thank you for all of your support, your moral support, and we're loving what we're seeing women do today.
but we had Schoolie High. And I say that to say, between men like Eric Monty, I had the character name of Michael Evans, thanks to
the writer.
Michael Evans, who also created Good Times.
Awesome.
Unfortunately, when Michael Evans passed away, my name got caught up with him. Michael Evans' Good Times died. So for quite some time, there was a false rumor that I had passed away. So I can be facetious sometimes. I used to walk up to people and say, boo.
I actually did hear that.
Yeah.
Years ago, I did hear that.
Well, I read my obituary. I was like,
Wow.
yo, this is deep.
So-
And they spelled my name wrong.
Oh my goodness.
So I knew they wouldn't talk about me. I said, where did these people come up with this stuff?
Now,
If I had my vocal
who were some of the well-known or famous cast members that you guys worked with? What was your memories of them? I know we all know some of the most
Well, Michael Thomas.
Right, right.
He was one of my first boyfriends on the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remember that
I
one.
wish they had kept him, but they didn't. Lou Gossett.
Now there was a one of my friends had brought up to me, and I know she don't kill me, but I might mess this up. But Lou Gossett Jr. at some point, didn't they recast him? At some point, he was an uncle and then a love interest
they
of yours.
did.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that. That was weird.
The first interest was a love interest, but it didn't
Yeah,
have some
right.
story than I do. But they recasted him as our uncle.
Okay.
And he fit in like a glove. His chemistry worked with our chemistry.
Now, have you guys stayed in contact with Janet Jackson from the show? You have?
I
Okay.
most recently continued to stay in contact.
Oh, that's awesome.
She lives in London now, but when I do call, she calls me back. I say, what's up, Demeter Joe?
Now, outside of shooting, did Esther or John ever take on parental roles with you guys when you were shooting as young adults? Because you guys were teens, right?
Yes, they did. Absolutely. I know Esther. I was right under her wing.
Okay. Shut up again. I think it times out. Can you guys hear us?
Testing, can you hear?
Yeah.
It times out after a minute.
Oh, really?
Okay. I don't know.
What? That's not cool.
No.
No. Esther was like my Hollywood mom.
Okay.
You know, I introduced myself like that to her.
Okay.
It was like, you have no children, and I need a mom out here, so you can be my mom. And I called her mom the whole time, like, oh Lord, have mercy. I wouldn't give that lady a break. But anyway, she was like a mom to me in Hollywood, and John definitely was an overseer, you know, and he would say, all right, little Capricorn, you know, because he's a big old Capricorn. So, yeah, they did that with me. And definitely.
Yeah, well, John to me was definitely the quintessential father and also my friend. I think the greatest joy I also had was in Brooklyn, we have a wonderful theater called the Billie Holiday Theater. And I was able to produce a play written by Richard Wesley entitled The Past is the Past. And due to the fact of our performance in that, I was able to not only produce it with the wonderful Marjorie Moon, who was directed by Woody King Jr. So I say all that to say I was in an environment where I got a chance to work with my dad again, but also be in a production in which we were nominated for and won the Adelco Award for. And now I'm the vice president of the Adelco Award.
Give it up. Boy, now come y'all can clap a little bit harder. All right, that's what I'm talking about.
Our mission is to keep African American theater alive, off Broadway and off Broadway. I've seen so much beautiful talent this year. The third Monday in this month is when we will have our wonderful ceremony. Please look us up on the web and you'll know. You're invited. You know, if you know 10 people, bring them with you. Come fill the house out.
Definitely, and to, you know what, this microphone is crazy.
Yeah, these microphones are not too cool. They got so advanced. that
I
they
know.
just
I'm going to
advanced
just talk loud because I'm not sure what's going on, but we're going to work through it.
Yes,
So
we
just
do.
to touch on what Ralph said about African American theater, you know, I'm also an actress and I, you know, do plays and stuff like that, and we don't have enough of our people that come out and support, you know. Recently I did a play, American Menu, and it was absolutely amazing. If you guys don't know, about 5 African American women who worked in a segregated kitchen back in the 1970s in Texas. It was a beautiful play, but just support. Whenever you see, you know, black theater, support it, you know. So I don't want to take up too much time. I do want to go back into John Amos. It's been said, I don't know if you can hear me, it's been said that John Amos clashed with writers over inauthenticity for some of the characterizations of the black cast. Were you guys made aware of that? I know he had such a strong personality.
Although I was a minor, I was very observant. You would have to understand the definitive genius of John Amos. He's also a writer in his own right. So writers understand that. And when you have other people of other ethnic groups, they think they know how to cut collard greens better than we do. And we have to make sure you understand, no, there's a way you cut them. You just, you gotta dice them. You can't just slice them more big. You know, with your hot sauce, the whole work.
Absolutely.
So we had to tread through some of that, because some of the writers did come with cultural baggage, with information or misinformation they had learned about people of African ancestry. So it wasn't that we had to put them into place, we had to culturally acclimate them to understand that, no, some of them had never dealt with black actors before. These were not inferior writers. They were brilliant writers, but they just not had the black experience like we did. That's really my point. And John Amos understood that thoroughly.
So let me ask you a question, Bernadette, kind of, touching on that. If you were a writer for Good Times, what storyline would you change? I know it's a deep thought one. It's because you guys have a lot of experiences, a lot of shows. What episode would you change?
I don't know if I would have made it so graphic with the iron on Penny, because kids watched that and it was so dramatic. I probably would have changed it a little bit, not like, come here, Penny, Rebecca. Come here, Penny. I wouldn't have done it that way. Maybe I would have changed that.
Okay.
No, but Chip Fields was brilliant as the role.
Oh yeah, she was
the
brilliant
abusive
in
mother.
doing it.
With that particular episode, Bernadette and I do understand the fact that it brought to attention child abuse in America. It was a very hidden story, and people did not talk about child abuse. And we did not know that some of the caretakers of these children were treating them so horrendously. So that particular episodes and those episodes brought to the forefront that particular poison that was within the culture.
But what I would have done, I would have touched on child sexual abuse.
Okay.
I would have touched on that. I'm glad they touched on abuse, period, but I would have touched on that because that is such a shame thing that a lot of children do go through that and they never speak about it. But I would have said something like, because a lot of the perpetrators that are abusing the children, they tell the children, if you tell your mom or if you tell your dad, that, I will hurt them or they will die or, somebody gonna strike them dead, and they scare the kids not to tell. So I'm saying something like that should be brought out because it does happen, and children, they don't talk about it because they're afraid to talk about it.
Okay.
That should be.
Well, since we're talking about episodes, we're going to liven this up a little bit. I want to know, what was you guys' favorite episodes? Like the funniest one?
Mine was the Black Jesus.
Okay.
I love Black Jesus. Not only that, you go to the Bible and prove it. The scriptures say,
Yes.
It's got hair wool, skin of bronze. We got a lot of hate mail from Mississippi on that one.
Red Eye. They're the one.
And that particular episode really touched the pulse within the culture because it's in your King James version of the Bible. And that's what y'all wrote. We just manifested. But I also enjoyed the gang production where I had to fight for my young humanity and defend my mother when a gang of people were trying to assault me. And working on that one was my coming of age particular episode, if I could do that, comment on that episode.
So, well, mine was the wedding, of course.
Oh, that was
When I got married to Keith.
with the Stevie Wonder song in the background.
You've been singing it.
Oh my goodness,
Oh
yes.
my God, that was one of the best for me because Esther Roll came back into the show
Okay.
because she had left for a year. And she came back to the show, so that was a very special show for me. Also, the African Prince, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And then the third one that I liked that was funny was when Penny was smoking a cigarette sitting underneath the pillow, and they had to find out who did it. And then I was everybody's version of something. I was JJ's witch. Y'all remember?
Yep.
I love that. I thought that was great. I thought it was great.
Every single one of what you guys mentioned, I definitely remember. And I just want to say, with the Black Jesus, I personally did not know that about his hair wool was in the Bible until that episode, and looked it up myself. I didn't know that. Okay. And for you, Thelma, I actually grew to love that Stevie Wonder track, one of my favorite now, because that's the first time that I actually heard it was on Good Time. So
well, I chose to sing that song. And the beauty of that particular song was that Stevie Wonder spent the entire day with us when we did the wedding episode. Bernadette is an eyewitness as well as myself. He spent the whole day with us. When we have break between the shows, because we usually do 2 filmings of the same production, but we edit them together. But my point is that he honored us by staying with us the same whole day. He broke bread with us, he ate with us.
Stevie was our friend, or is our friend.
He was really...
Both of us. But it's so funny.
He gave us the whole day.
The whole day. But after that, Stevie would call me, right? And one day he asked me, what did he say? Let's go driving. And I'm like, Stevie, what are you talking about? I ain't driving nowhere with you. No, listen. So it was like, let's go driving. And so I said, Stevie, I got to go to work. I can't go driving with you. So he says, well, and I asked him, I said, so really about driving? I said, how do you do that? What is that about? And he said that out of everything in the world, he wished he could drive.
oh, that is amazing.
You don't want to be blindsided by Stevie.
Are you silly? No, but that's what he said. So, yeah. And I never really thought about it. He would say, did you see the show? Did you see that? I'm like, come on. Well, how do you answer that? Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
Did you?
So was he known for clowning you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he's a clown.
I've heard he has a
I
sense
think
of
one
humor.
good times for me was the loss of John Amos's character.
Wow.
Okay.
That was the most negative impact. I didn't want to come back on that next season.
Oh.
It took a minute to get me convinced to want to come back. Because of my symbiotic relationship with John, it was very difficult to, I said, no, I got to be a 15, 16-year-old kid without my dad.
Yeah.
When Esther Roll fought for the black people
Yeah.
to be on television.
Yeah.
So it almost was a slap in the face to not only her integrity, but to the fact that she fought to get a complete African-American family
Absolutely.
unit. So that we fell back into that so-called stereotype.
There it is
And
again.
I don't mean it like that because I grew up in a single-parent family. And our mother did a phenomenal job, I believe, My mother told me, ultimately you got to treat people the way you want to be treated. And many people don't know I never saw Good Times while it was on. I was not allowed to watch the show. The reason and rationale that John Amos, Esther Roll, told my mother that children tend to imitate themselves. I came and have my hair cut with scissors, and it was very interesting phenomenon. Well, that was I had to slap that bitch. That is a $90 shirt.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
not nice.
And you
Not
learn
nice. I gotta
something new
straighten it out.
every
That's
day.
not nice. But
She wasn't talking to Margaret, she was talking to Ralph.
but the funny part about it is that when we found out, well, when I found out, I don't know if you knew, but I did not know John was not going to be on the show. We came into the reading and we read the script, and the script said he was killed. And I'm thinking, okay, well, where's part 2? Where it was mistaken identity, or whatever. And they said no, and that's when they told me John will no longer be with us. I'm like, what? Now that was just like, for real, a shock to me. And so when I did that show, it was really painful for me because, that's how I found out he was not going to be on the show.
Well, you might have killed him off on Good Times, but Karma's really good. Didn't he come back with Roots? Took
Yes.
the world by storm.
He did do Roots
He
right
became
after
a
that.
global international star.
And Coming to America was the funniest movie
Oh,
in the
man,
world
when he
to me.
tripped up the stairs.
Man, when he fell up the stairs, I said, I know that's John. He fell up the stairs.
And we know he did that on purpose.
John,
Oh, my
he's a
goodness.
wonderful,
He's
he was
still
a
a
wonderful
comedic
actor.
actor.
We miss him.
And when he do his serious movie, he mean.
So how did being a child star of Good Times shape your life afterwards? I understand that you had issues with guys, but I know you also wrote a book,
Bad
right?
issues, just,
But
wasn't
here and there.
Yeah.
They were not up in it, right?
Not all of them. There were a few that were okay. Not that I had that many, but. Okay. Well, what was the question again?
So, what did you guys do after Good Times? You know, what was your work? What did you get into?
Well, for me, it was, I was glad to be free of the show and everything like that. I could, I don't have to get up every morning to do a show. I was happy about that after a while. And then I just started to, I went back to New York for a while and, relaxed or whatever. And I still live in California. I stayed in California and started to write. And I started to do plays across the country. A lot of the gospel plays, a lot of those plays, I've been in almost every one of them. Mama Don't, this, that. There was a bunch of them. And so I enjoyed doing that. Also did a show for a year off Broadway called Willie and Esther, which was another fun thing to do with a wonderful actor, Jerris Poindexter. And to this day, I want to do the show again, which I did do it again, but that's the actor that I chose just wasn't Jerris. It's just like, your partner, And so Jerris is not well now. He's in a wheelchair, so he could not do the show with me. But oh my God, nobody could do it better.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but that's what I did. And then after that, I got married, and then I have my daughters. I have 2 daughters. Now I have 2 granddaughters. Oh, Lord have mercy. I got a 9-year-old and a 9-week-old. And then all girls in the family. No boys.
Bernadette, I'm just going to say, I am girl crushing on you. You look absolutely fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
You sister, girl. I'm just saying, you look fabulous, and you're such a role model to women my age and much younger. My own daughter is here, and I wanted her to be here because I wanted her to see you.
Oh,
I wanted her to see you. I wanted her to see you, Ralph. Now I understand you sing. You had a track afterwards, right?
Yeah, I've been very fortunate. I thank God that I don't waste my gifts. But after Good Times, I also Janet and we had to complete school the next day. So I graduated from high school. I went to college. Then an opportunity came in which I went and moved and lived in West Africa for quite some time.
Oh.
Primarily in the country of Nigeria. And then I explored the planet, and I went to East and West Africa to travel while I was mobile and not on a walker or inconveniently able to be motivated emotionally. But my point is that I think I'm grateful to myself that I was able to travel and see the planet. And there's so many other people, so many other people.
Okay. I want to ask you guys one last question before we take a couple of questions from the audience. You guys ready for that? So my last question would be, what is one positive message you think today's teens and young adults could take from the Good Times show? Given, the dynamic of the time frame, 50 years of, advancement, technology, all of that.
Well, I'll speak from a young girl's point of view. I would say that I was born and raised in Brooklyn, Brownsville, in the projects. So I was raised a lot like the way Thelma was. My parents really encouraged me to do dancing, keep me busy, education. My mother always wanted me to be a good girl. You know what good girl was back then, which I was. So I would say that no matter where you are, and where you were raised or whatever, if you have inside of you that you want to become something and you want to do something, there's nothing or anyone that can stop you but you. Okay? So my dad used to always say this to us. When we go to Catholic school, walk all the way down the street, come on back, and see a lot of stuff in Brownsville. He said, what's around you does not have to be in you. Okay? So I'm saying, you can make it if you want to. You gotta want to.
Ralph?
I would say as a historian that I would encourage young people to never stop reading. Just in the country where we were learning to want to read. And when I look at the Emma Bisbee, Nat Turner, or Gabriel Crawford, one thing they did all have in common was they were ability to read. They knew exactly what was going on around them in the environment that we lived. Same thing happened with Jesse Lane, Henry Christophe, and Toussaint Louverture of Haiti. They all knew how to read. These were men of letters, so they knew exactly what their enemies were doing at all times. I'm not implying that all people are enemies, but at that time, people lied. So I would encourage young people to never, ever stop reading.
And like now, they're taking script out of the school. Now you can't even read a letter. If somebody wrote you a letter and wrote it in, you know.
Wow.
Remember how everybody who had to take penmanship, raise their hand? All of us.
You know.
We showing our age with that one, huh?
No, but there's a whole
no,
generation of
but
children.
that do not know. And I wrote an autograph once to this guy who was like 14, 15, and he said, "Miss, can you please print that?" I said, "What? You don't print autographs?" "No, can you print it because I can't read it."
Oh.
So if they want to hide anything, they can write it in penmanship script, and our children will not know how to read. It's like another language to them. My granddaughter is 9. I have a penmanship book, and I make her sit down and write. And she's so proud because she's the only one in her class that can write her name in script. And she's the big deal because she can write. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you gotta write a letter to me next.
That's good.
Okay?
Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your insight, Ralph. I love your energy. I just love your energy. Guys, this is the end of, thank you. Oops.
Supporting us all of these years.
Yes, thank you so much.
It means a lot.